Hey folks, Charlie here. Welcome to the C Show and the first of two interview episodes as we lead up to Belle2Bell's Saved by the Bell and American Excellence Wrestling's Don't Call It a Comeback. We're very excited for you to hear from the folks that we're proud to sponsor. From photographers and refs to in-ring talent, we wanted to highlight all the different people that make the show happen. First up is Jess Skye, one of the photographers for Belle2Bell. Jess was a blast to talk with. We discussed how she discovered wrestling through a photography class assignment and the awkward conversation with the teacher that ensued. Being a camera nerd, Jess and I talked about her philosophy around shooting action in and around the ring. Take a listen. How did you get introduced to wrestling initially?
I needed action shots for my high school portfolio, and I was just hanging out at a small wrestling kind of thing that was running out of a farmer's market show. And the photographer there overheard me say, "Hey, I need action shots for my portfolio." And he was like, "Hey, you're here all the time. Do you want to come and shoot? Do you want to, take a few photos, get what you need, kind of whatever you want to get, for your school, and you can do whatever then from then." And I was like, cool, I guess it was like a right time, right place kind of thing. And ran with it. I was doing promos with different lighting for my schoolwork, and it was kind of like a win-win kind of thing. They were getting free promos, I was getting my schoolwork done, and just kind of posting stuff out on Facebook, and kind of went from there. I didn't realize the extent to wrestling and how big it was, and I didn't expect to be here 8 years later.
Wow.
I started in 2017. My photos kind of went everywhere. Went to another show. I met Jen Lufisto, and she was like, "Hey, realized I know that there's not many female photographers. I want to give you a chance if you're up for it." Ran with her for a while and just kind of took off.
Wow, that's awesome. What was the reaction from your teachers and classmates when you showed up to class with wrestling photography instead of, I'm sure your other classmates had, their friends playing sports or whatever. What was the reaction there like?
They were kind of shocked. My teacher had more of a reaction than my classmates did, because some of my classmates kind of knew that I hung around wrestling outside of school as like a hobby, I guess. So when I came in photos, they were like, "Oh, don't you do that? Like, don't you go there like once a month anyways?" So that wasn't a shop. My teacher was like, "Wait, I didn't expect you to do that. I thought you were going to like a high school football game or like a high school sporting event. I didn't expect you to come out with like more of a professional sport." He then realized I started getting in. I don't want to say I got into like crazy stuff. But
Hardcore stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't doing hardcore stuff. I wasn't doing death matches right away. But I got the straight fight with, like a couple of chairs, like a stop sign, like, that kind of thing. And when I came in and he was looking over my shoulder, because I had a camera, but it wasn't a great camera, so I was signing equipment out. And he saw the trash can. He stopped in and he goes, "Yeah, so normal school equipment." I looked at him. I'm like, "Why not? Like, I want to, still do this." And he goes, "Yeah, so that's a liability. You can do that on your own." And I was like, "Okay." I went home and it was a couple of weeks of convincing my mom to like help me get, equipment to do this. And it was like a deal with her then to like get some stuff, but it was a whole thing more of like my teacher than like my classmates. My classmates were like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I want to do that."
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really funny that your teacher just saw the trash can and was like, "Oh no." I have a similar experience. A friend of mine asked me to. I have a background in film and video, and my buddy asked me. He was like, "Hey, do you want to shoot GoPro around ringside at the 2300 arena?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. What could go wrong here?" A guy came in. He threw a trash can into the middle of a match, And then he took one of the wrestlers, picked him up over his head, and then threw him over the ropes where I was standing. And so a wrestler was thrown right on top of me. And before that, I had the opinion of like, oh, wrestling is fake. It's scripted. These guys are dumb. And then I had a wrestler thrown on top of me. And I was like, oh, no, this is very, very, very real.
I'll be honest, I never really grew up watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Going to like WWE was never like on the top of my head. Like AEW, none of that. I was going to this one show because my high school best friend went to the show and moved school districts. And I was like, you know what? I want to go see my friend. If this is the only place I can see her, let's go. So when I got to the ring, I didn't even finish my full first show because the ring was loud. So when they took bumps, that freaked me out.
Oh, I'm sure.
So close, being so loud. I was shot maybe 2 matches, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to go sit down. I shot my first full show the month after, and I'm a natural klutz, like as is, let alone ringside. And it was like a normal match, but they came out, and the one guy was going to throw the other guy into like one of the posts. And the posts were like more round, so I kind of swung myself around and I did like a backwards somersault kind of thing over the chair.
Oh my gosh.
I call it like I almost did like an armadillo kind of thing. I put
you
the
rolled
camera
up
on my stomach and I was like, you know what, protect my camera.
Oh, absolutely.
Was, like, looking at me like, are you good? And I'm like checking my camera out before I'm checking me out. And the other photographer was like, you good? I'm like, yeah, my camera's fine. And he's like, no, are you okay?
Yeah, no, the gear is so much more important, right? You got to make sure to get the shot. When did you get more involved with doing wrestling photography for organizations like Belle2Bell?
After COVID.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of stuff in like middle Pennsylvania, and then COVID happened. So I was like, you know what? Got what I needed, kind of easy out. And the Monster Factory was something I saw when I first started. Like it was bright green ropes, and I was like, you know what? I want to shoot that. That was kind of my goal. Everyone had WWE kind of thing, AEW in the head. Mine was always the Monster Factory.
Really?
So when I came back from COVID, I tag team up in New York. Was like, you know what? We want you back. And I said, look, get me booked. And they were like, okay, like we'll do it. And got me out in New Jersey with another company that runs 15 to 20 minutes down from the factory.
Okay.
Like, you know what? This is probably a step in the right direction. I'm out of Pennsylvania. I'm like 15 minutes from the factory. Maybe my name can get out there more. So I was doing that, and I met some other students that train at the Monster Factory at some of the shows I was doing. And one of the students I got pretty close friends with, and he was like, hey, I'm going to the factory. Do you want to go with me? And I was like, sure, I'll go with. But at the time, I hit Danny Cage up to shoot at the factory when they were shooting the Apple TV series.
Okay.
Hindsight, I knew it was a bad timing, and he said no. So then I stepped into the factory. Missy was like, hey, I know you. Do you have any things? And I said, no. And she goes, you've been around long enough. You always bring stuff. So next show, I was at the factory, you know,
Came prepared.
Much full time. And then I think 2023, Missy calls me and goes, hey, I'm running an all women's promotion. I want you. Like,
oh wow.
Like these are my dates. Are you available? So I was like, obviously I'm gonna say yes. Like that's Missy's kind of like my wrestling mom. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay. Yeah. Love that.
So of course, you know, I was like, you know what? Anything for Missy, like let me like the factory's my home, and been there from show one, you know, up until now.
Amazing. And including Saved by the Bell Saturday, September 20th.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely. Well, that answers my question of how did you get involved with Belle2Bell? Why is it so important to have an independent all women's professional wrestling organization?
Um, as a female, starting pretty young,
Hmm.
like I was 17, newly 17, like month after my birthday, knowing nothing about wrestling, essentially about what goes in the ring, outside the ring.
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of guys came to me and was like, hey, I can get you here, I can get you there, like, but then they wanted something non-business related,
Mm.
like in return.
Yeah.
So they'd start off kind of businessy, and guys would get weird.
Hmm.
Or even walking to a locker room and it's predominantly men, it's kind of, even if they're completely professional, it's kind of intimidating being one of the only females
Hmm.
there. So having an all women show, it's very comforting to walk in and be like, okay, I'm not gonna get that weird guy that kind of says, hey, let's, can I talk to you, and goes completely off track. I
Hmm.
have like the comfortability. I have full creative control of kind of what I can do with my work. Missy gives me a lot of freedom in trying new things. If I want to shoot with, I'm pretty heavy on shooting with flash,
Hmm.
but I'm comfortable if I want to try to shoot without flash at the factory. Like I'm like, okay, cool. Like Missy trusts my work enough that I know I can shoot a match without flash or part of a match without flash.
Hmm.
And she trusts that I know what I'm doing. Um,
Gotcha. Yeah,
Missy,
that's
go ahead.
awesome. Oh, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, that's awesome that there's it's disappointing to hear, about these male dominated spaces in wrestling, but it's also a really bright spot to have people like Missy who are driving forces in creating spaces for women to perform and to be basically the main draw of the show. So I think what Missy does is really incredible. And when we talked to Missy back at BCW Hot Summer Nights, and I was just blown away by her attitude and the way how she carried herself as well. She's still the only woman in the Hardcore Hall of Fame, which, I mean, you look at people in there and there's some incredible names. So uh, we're just so I feel really honored to be to even like work with Missy in this capacity as a sponsor of Saved by the Bell.
I've What's also cool as far as like Missy and Belle2Bell goes is
Hmm.
before she started the show, I was talking to her and I told her at a Fat Day show, I started my little ringside photo
Hmm.
because 17-year-old Jess didn't know anything about wrestling, and I got upset that my picture wasn't on anything to be advertised.
Hmm.
Being at the show, or my name wasn't on anything. Again, not really knowing much about wrestling.
Hmm.
And Missy's put pictures out and saying, hey, we want to thank, you know, some of the girls, that doesn't get their names on posters. And it was like
Hmm.
me and some of the refs and like the commentary, people that don't normally get put on posters. She, for Saved by the Bell, she has like also appearing, and it's like all the refs names and the commentary names and like my name's listed. So it's like I don't know if she remembers that conversation, but even just being able to vocalize, hey, this is why I do my picture. Now seeing, you know, things that 17-year-old just always want to see,
Hmm.
like even sponsors. Like I was told, I'm never gonna get a sponsor as a photographer. Sponsors for wrestlers and matches.
Hmm.
Podcasts are for wrestlers, and like everything that I was told that I would never get as a photographer, because photographers don't normally get those things. I feel
Hmm.
like I've been able to get through Missy and like
Wow.
Belle.
That's yeah. I feel like I'm tearing up right now. I'm getting a little emotional. I'm just like so happy that we can help with that. We can help you succeed with those goals as well here at the C Show. Um, wow. What's a dream match that you have for Belle2Bell in the future here?
Um,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For our listeners, Jess has a very, very
Um,
focused look on her face. She's got her hands together.
I would for like I don't know if it seems like a dream match, but Rhea Ripley
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I would love to see her appear specifically for like the Diamond Champion. I know Mimi currently has it, but
Mm-hmm.
she's currently, like I said, I'm not big on like, I've never been like a super big like wrestling fan, but Rhea Ripley's caught my attention a few times. So literally her, like if she was like magically to appear and go for like the Diamond Champ,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be Mimi or whoever has the time, because I know Mimi has it currently, is probably like a dream thing for me. Just
Yeah.
to see someone that has recently been catching my attention. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, again, as someone who doesn't watch wrestling a ton,
Mm-hmm.
someone on TV that I don't personally know, I feel like it's hard to catch my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And she's caught my attention a few times. So literally her just like in
Just
there
being in the mix.
for like like a championship match is
Mm-hmm.
probably a
Has
dream
there
for me.
has there been a specific recent Rhea Ripley match where you've been like, this is where I want to see her in?
As far as like Belle2Bell or just in general.
Yeah. Sorry, let me rephrase that question. So, has there been a recent Rhea Ripley match that has like spurred this desire, this dream match in Belle2Bell?
I'll be honest, I've been watching kind of just reels
Mm-hmm.
of it. So not
Okay.
necessarily. It's just like her like presence
Her vibe.
and how like I think it's because like I feel like I relate to her kind of energy per se, or her like look
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that is like let me watch more of her.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's so awesome. It's still valid. I think that that's a big draw for people is that like the connection with the character and the aesthetic that they have, whether that's somebody being represented where they're not being represented normally or just making a connection with somebody. I think that's really powerful as well. So as we kind of close up the interview here, wrap up here, I wanted to ask you about Saved by the Bell. So, what matches are you looking forward to at Saved by the Bell, or what talents are you looking forward to seeing?
Specifically Gabby and Vicky.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I photographed both of them like a good bit of time, like a good bit through different companies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I haven't photographed them together, um, which is kind of something like I like like I like photographing people who I see wrestle a
Mm-hmm.
good bit, but I don't see them wrestle like together. I kind of like to see what they can like come up with together. Um,
Cool.
I absolutely love uh Sammy Chaos
Mm-hmm.
specifically. I always look forward to like shooting her matches specifically. Like she comes out and she always poses, like she'll do a little pose for me, and I never know what, like sometimes it's the middle finger, sometimes it's like a cute pose. It kind of depends on if she's like a heel or a face.
Mm-hmm.
But her specifically, I love photographing just because there's some people, a lot of guys or girls, I don't always get that like one-on-one connection real quick. And I know I'm a photographer, I'm not like the main like focus,
Mm-hmm.
but I absolutely love and appreciate that Sammy Chaos gives me that like 2 seconds of, hey, here's a shot, like that little interaction. It always makes me feel more part of a show,
Mm-hmm.
and I get my own little like special moment when I work with her.
That's awesome. I love that. It's very sweet of her. What's your strategy to capturing photos ringside?
I any show I tend to like to hang in corners
Mm-hmm.
because I'm out of the way. But if I can get a corner closest to her cam, because I know they like a lot of workers are told like work her cam.
Mm-hmm.
I know if I'm hanging in corners, I'm out of the way, but I try to get like that shot too from an angle without, again, blocking anyone, cameras. I I realize I just get caught an eye for it. I've learned different setups. I've worked with a lot of the same people across different companies, so I kind of got a feel for how different people work.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, like, okay, they do this and like this and then this. So I've kind of got the finishes kind of in my head, so I know, okay, I don't know the whole match, but
Mm-hmm.
Mimi, that's not her normal finisher. So it's
Mm-hmm.
probably not like the end of the match, or that's not some, or that is someone's finisher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, let me like work my way to get this shot and then try to get the pin.
Gotcha.
Um, Females specifically, I try to put myself in whatever spot they are in the photo, and if I wouldn't want like a picture of me
Mm-hmm.
in that certain position, I'm sure they wouldn't either, like as a female. So I try to like filter those photos out.
Yeah.
Um,
What kind of lenses are you using?
I typically use a kit lens, which is a 55 to 170, I
Oh,
think.
okay. Still going long there.
But I play with a 50
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. I'm big on like a zoom kind of thing, just so I have more
Flexibility.
ability. But I've been trying to get out of my comfort level and try
Mm-hmm.
to use different lenses. I've been trying to use like the wide angle. I've been trying to get away from using flash, so I've been trying to figure out what lens I can and can't use,
Gotcha.
like exposure wise.
Mm-hmm. You talked about that a little bit earlier, and now that we're in the camera nerd part of the interview, you were talking about using flash and not using flash. What can you talk to the audience a little bit more about why you what situations you would use flash or would you not use flash?
I know a lot of like televised shows, they
Mm-hmm.
don't like using flash, or
Mm-hmm.
they're not big on flash. The arena, I can't use flash. Or I know bigger promotions, you're not supposed to, or you can.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrity boxing, you can't use flash.
Mm,
So I've been trying to again get away from the flash. I kind of base it off of lighting at different buildings.
mm-hmm.
Some of them are very dark or like a spotlight kind of, where it's
Yeah.
just the light over the ring, and that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I try to judge it based off of, atmosphere and
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing. I used to shoot for NYWC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in New York. Like, they were a very tricky lighting situation for me, where I would use flash for the entrances and turn the flash off for
Mm,
matches.
yeah.
So it's kind of lighting situational.
It's logistic, it's creative. There's a couple different factors.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, really, again, really appreciate your time talking with us here at the C Show. If you can, just real quick summarize, if you're one of our listeners and you haven't bought a ticket for Saved by the Bell, again, Saturday, September 20th at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey, why should somebody get a ticket for Saved by the Bell?
There's so many amazing talents. Once you walk in, everyone I feel like treats you like family. So many of the girls are willing to take pictures and sign different things, and they'll stop and say hello and have a conversation with you. I know I stop and talk to fans as well, even if I'm not like a main draw. I feel like everyone's just so warm and welcoming,
Hmm.
and tries to make you feel like you're part of the show as well as all of them. I feel like they put the 110% into trying to entertain and give you like the best match they possibly can for them. I also feel like there's a lot of solid, like, like causes they help. Like I know they were taking donations, like feminine products to donate. They were raising money for Adrianna to help with her medical things. So I feel like there's a lot of different things that you could come in and also support besides just, the girl, not just the girls, but like not just more than just the wrestling. There's more things to like help.
Yeah.
Like outside of wrestling.
Every day I feel so much better about getting involved with Belle2Bell, and we're just so excited for Saved by the Bell. So Jess, thank you again so much for talking with us. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you at Saved by the Bell.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. No, thank you. You have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, talk soon. Bye-bye. Next up, we have ref Julie Rogan. Julie and I share similar journeys to wrestling in that we've both gotten more involved in the past couple of years. Julie has already shined as a referee in Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW, as well as Belle2Bell. Similar to when we record at Connor's, a furry friend kept interrupting us. No complaints from me. All right, Julie, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to talk with you and learn more about Belle2Bell and Saved by the Bell. So just to get started, what's your, how did you get introduced to wrestling? What's your start with wrestling?
Oh, well, I grew up watching it with my friends and their brothers. And then during COVID, we'll watch it with my nephews. And then after COVID, when COVID started, you could start doing activities again. It was one of the first things I started going to. And one of the events Cheeseburger was at, and I saw that he has a referee training track in his program. So I went for it, and that's where I started training, was the Worldwide Dojo with Cheeseburger.
Wow. Was there specifically like a reason why you wanted to be a referee?
I don't think I was athletic enough to be a wrestler.
Okay. All right. Hey, we got to know our strengths, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to participate, so.
Yeah, no, we wanted to be a part of the show. That's what we're doing here with the C Show. So, how did you get started working with Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW?
That's a good question. I know some of the people who work with them, and then I met DJ at where did I meet him? Pro Wrestling Venom tapings about a year ago. We would use the CZW dojo. So I'd been in contact with them and people that worked there. So then I finally did my first show with them back in May of this year.
Oh, wow. So it's just pretty recent.
Yeah. Memorial
Awesome.
Day weekend was the first time.
Oh, yeah, that's really exciting. So what's your favorite match that you've covered so far?
Oh gosh, I've had a lot. Maybe Notorious Mimi and Lena Cross from Belle2Bell a couple months ago.
Okay.
That was a really good one. It was like over 20 minutes long, and it was just, but it didn't feel long. It just
it flowed well.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. That's
awesome. What's one goal that you want to achieve as a referee here in pro wrestling?
Well, that's a good question. Because I've been doing things I've been wanting to do. A goal. Sorry, she's really distracting.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
I can't think of anything that's not already on my agenda that I've been wanting to do right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's exciting that you're getting like the fulfillment from it. We don't always have to have like big lofty goals. Like sometimes just doing it is the coolest thing, right? So, moving on to Belle2Bell, why is it important to have an all-women's professional wrestling organization?
Well, I love being a part of it because you feel a little more relaxed in a way. because everybody's really high caliber and very talented. It's just a very supportive environment. You're not just there as part of like the one women's match on the card. So I don't know.
Yeah, when I was talking to Jess yesterday, she was talking about like the same sort of like family environment where everybody is very supportive of each other and very, very open, and I guess caring. There's, I guess, a layer of, let's call it just what it is. It's sleaze with professional wrestling, right? Unfortunately, a lot of men want other things, and that's what Jess was describing to me. And so far, from what I've talked about with Missy, with Jess, with you, Julie, is this very caring environment where it's really about the wrestling more than anything else. You talked about like the one women's match on the card. That's a critique that we've had of some local promotions, is that you've got the same two women fighting for the championship every single event, and it's like, can we get some more variety in here? Not just because we want to support other women wrestlers, but like, you get more people in the mix there, you get more people opportunities. It's better for everybody. How did you get involved with Belle2Bell?
Missy reached out to me.
What was that like?
Well, a little intimidating because who she is, and I hadn't worked with her before. But she's been great. She's been also very supportive. She's very structured. Cheeseburger is very structured, but they run things differently. So it was neat to see how, because I'd been used to his way of organizing events like the Captured Lightning tapings, and then going to Belle2Bell, Missy has a very different way of like building up the event, like strategizing, like it goes in a different way, but it's all still very organized and clear what's happening when.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's interesting that Missy has a different school of thought, but I mean, it's pretty clear that she wants to do things differently, and she also wants to do things the right way, it seems like.
Yes.
What's a dream match that you have for Belle2Bell?
Oh, that's a good question. Trying to think of one that I haven't seen yet. Sorry.
No worries.
They're just so distracting. I don't know, because every time, like all those shows have been like really spectacular.
You'd say every match is a dream.
Well, they are, yeah.
We love it when it's simple like that, right, Julie?
Yeah.
So just a little bit more about Saved by the Bell. What match are you most excited about for Saved by the Bell?
I'm excited to see Lena Cross again. She looks like she was going up against Layla James, and I worked with Lily James a few Belle2Bells ago, so excited to work with both of them again. That one should be good.
Cool. Well, this has been really great to talk with you, Julie. Those are all of my questions, real quick. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention for people, our listeners of the C Show, why they should join us on Saturday, September 20th for Saved by the Bell at the Monster Factory?
Well, it'll be a great time. Just looking at the card is very exciting. The See Mimi is going up against Nix Newell, and Ref Gina will be there. I haven't worked with her in a while. Love working with Ref Gina, so I'm excited about that. Haas House will be there. Always good to see them. So lots of great talent.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about it, and we're proud to be sponsors of Saved by the Bell. So we'll see you there, Julie, and thank you again so much for your time today.
All right, thanks so much.
No, thank you. Last up in this episode is Adrianna Mosley, the 1CW Women's World Champion. I mistakenly referred to it at the promotion as ICW, my bad. Adrianna is a special case. She is wrestling at both Belle2Bell, Saved by the Bell, and Don't Call It a Comeback. She was so much fun to talk with. I don't want to keep you from our conversation, so just dig in here. Adrianna, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, not a problem.
I wanted to ask you, what's your initial experience with wrestling? How did you get started just watching wrestling even?
So my best friend from elementary school, she took me to an indie show and I fell in love with it. I don't know why. I knew about WWE. I played WWE 2K, and I thought it was cheesy. And then I don't know. I think that more intimate setting at an indie show was really what sparked my interest.
What indie show was it, if you remember, and when was it?
Ooh, that was back in like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And it was PPW in Delaware. I think they run maybe like once in a blue moon, but they don't run as consistent as they used to.
Yeah, I was reading that you're from Delaware. You live in Delaware?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool. So when did you get more involved with wrestling and actually performing in the ring?
So I actually became friends with Mr. Grimm. I was petrified of him. And then I don't know why, but we kind of just started like having conversations, and I told him that was something that I was interested in. So he offered me to become his manager. So I was doing that. And then they opened up a school here in Delaware. They're no longer open. And then that's when I started training to become a wrestler. And then that's when I went to CZW and WXW with the Wild Samoans.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just talked to Julie Rogan yesterday, who refs occasionally in CZW. She'll also be at Saved by the Bell Saturday, September 20th. It's the first plug. Count them, folks. Wanted to ask a little bit about your career. You've had some really interesting experiences so far. What's your favorite match or event that you've been to so far?
That's a good question. Dang. I can't really think of like.
So let that bubble. Let me ask you about a couple of things before that. How about tell me about being in the Battle Royale at NWA 76?
That's the one with all the women, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was amazing. Being able to make history and to make my debut in such a historical building. I'm definitely grateful to NWA for allowing me the opportunity. And it was just, sometimes I think back and I look at the old footage from the Burke Invitational, and I'm like, did I really do that? Was that me? So it was just, words can't explain.
Speaking of things that are hard to explain, what's it like being the ICW Women's Champion?
It is amazing. Delaware is my home. 1CW is my home, and I'm very appreciative of them taking that chance on me and building me into the champion that I am today.
What was that process like?
Like a process as in
becoming the champion, like the matches that led up to it, the relationships that you have to build. What's that like? For our listeners are sort of new to wrestling.
Yeah.
And so giving them an idea of like, what's that process look like? We kind of just have an idea of it's just handed upon people, right?
Yeah. So I know with 1CW, when I first came back to wrestling back in 2022, they were still partnered with CCW. I forget exactly what it stood for. So they didn't really have like a women's division. They used to. Well, they didn't. I don't think they really did before, but that was technically the women's division. So when they parted ways, I was already a student at 1CW school, so I was like the only woman. And it was like, all right, so what do we do from here? Like, we have a girl at our school. What do we do? So they were bringing in other women. At first, it was like I think it was like a tournament that it was supposed to be. And then they decided to crown like their first champion. I was their first champion. It was short-lived. And then Valerie Berman was their champion after me, literally the same day. So then I had to build myself up. We had to build like a storyline. Okay, prove to me that you're supposed to be this women's champion. And that's basically how it went. And now it's 2025 and I'm the women's champion.
You know, cutting the promos, doing the work, winning the matches, hitting the spots. Those are all the things, right? That's the part of proving yourself and being the champion.
Yeah.
Awesome. So about fighting and about being a champion, you're currently fighting endometriosis. How can people support you outside of attending both Saved by the Bell and Don't Call It a Comeback?
Just, you know, showing support by sending good vibes, prayers, whatever you believe in. Thankfully, with everybody that has pitched in, and then I also pulled out of my savings. I am able to afford my surgery. So I appreciate everyone that has shown their constant support, and shout out to Belle2Bell. Missy had made sure that I was good, and she donated to my endometriosis, and as well as 1CW, their last show, they had a fundraiser for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people have donated, and I had to cry, because it was just like, when you're fighting something like this, even though it's not, you know, cancer or anything, it's still a lot. And I'm just grateful.
From all that I've talked to people about Belle2Bell, it's such an incredible organization. There's such a family atmosphere. How did you get involved with Belle2Bell?
So I met Missy at a 1CW show when they were still with CCW. And I remember
sorry to cut you off, but that's CCW?
Yeah, CCW.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So I remember Missy had came up to me in the locker room, and I remember I was like, I don't know who this woman is, but you know, I like her. Missy has that personality where it's just like, she just comes up and talks to anybody, and she's just like relatable. And so I remember when that separation had happened, Missy reached out to me, and she was like, hey, I'm running an all women's show. Do you want to be a part of it? And I was like, I'm down. Like, so when was it? I think it was 2024 that we had our first show. And I'm so proud of her for how much work she's put in, how much she protects us, and how much of a mother she is to all of us.
Yeah, those are definitely the vibes that I got from Missy, is like, pardon my French here, but I would not want to fuck with Missy.
Me neither.
I do not want to be on her bad side. Why is it important to have an all women's professional wrestling organization like Belle2Bell?
To show that women, because, you know, whenever it comes to like a regular show, which is, you maybe have one or two women's matches, if you even have one. So women don't really get to prove themselves. They have 7 minutes to prove themselves that they can do better than any other match on the card. So when we're seeing like an all women's promotion with talented women, beautiful women, and it's doing well, that's showing, okay, we can get down with the guys. Like, we can get down, or we can do better.
Absolutely. Like, when we used to cover WWE stuff, and when it was the weekend of Saturday night's main event and Evolution, and it was just way clear that Evolution was the better event, just hands down. It's not even a matter of like what resources were put into it, like storyline wise or marketing wise. It was just better wrestling. And every time I introduce people to wrestling, I'll show them some men's wrestling, and it kind of falls flat. It's like, whatever. I show them some Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky matches, and they're just like, oh, okay, I'm in, I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, two very very unique women, both in the ways that they move around. But there are so many incredibly talented women, and we're really excited about Saved by the Bell. Our last question here about Belle2Bell before we move on to AXW. Sorry, Antonio. What's a dream match that you have for Belle2Bell?
I would like to go against Sammy Chaos again. That was fun. She's now my tag team partner, so we have that partnership. But yeah, I would like to see her and I go at it one more time. It's always a pleasure to be with her, but you know, sometimes you gotta test your partner. You gotta see if, like, if she's still there. But she's really talented. I knew Sammy before she even stepped into the business, and just being able to see her grow has been such an honor.
We've seen her at the last two Battleground Championship wrestling events, and you know, this is no dig against BCW and Tim Embler, who have been great to us. But like what you were saying earlier is like, there's only one women's card on the match, right? And both events that we've been to so far, it's just been Danny and Sammy trading the belt against each other. And like, that's what's so refreshing about Belle2Bell, is that it's not that. It is a wide variety of women and different styles and techniques. And so again, we're really excited about that. Again, tickets are at the link in the description here. Saturday, September 20th. One last thing. What's somebody, if somebody is like on the fence about buying a ticket, why should they come to Belle2Bell? Because
I'm there.
Great answer. Moving on. So American Excellence Wrestling. Shout out to our friend Antonio. We actually, I want to shout out Antonio here. We met Antonio in line to meet Danny Moe at a BCW event, and he saw that I had my camera set up, so my phone and all the microphones and stuff, and he was like, do you guys have a podcast? I was like, yes. He's like, oh, I'm just getting some cards signed. Can I hop in front? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. If you're just getting 3 cards signed. The people in front of us had been talking already for like 30 minutes. And like, whatever, fine. No problem. But I'm sure Danny wants to, you know, move some people along, sell some stuff, no problem. And so, you know, we get talking with Antonio, and he's like, oh, well, I run AXW up in Hamburg, the Hamburg Fieldhouse, telling us about Vince McMahon, putting up the lights there. The Hamburg Fieldhouse is a historic venue. What's the significance of that for you?
Like with NWA, there's so much history. There's so many people that I've looked up to in the wrestling business that's wrestled there. I've only been to the Fieldhouse once. I can't remember which promotion it was. It was back in 2018. I don't have the memory for that.
Listen, if it was before 2020, you know, it's a kind of a blur. Past couple of years, nobody blames you.
COVID.
Yeah.
My memory's like, but yeah, it's a great honor just to be on that show and to be going against Ava Everett. I faced her before, and she is just a great person and a great wrestler all around.
Yeah, thank you for a great segue there. You're facing Ava Everett at Don't Call It a Comeback, Saturday, September 27th in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. She's held titles here and abroad. Is that intimidating for you?
No.
Okay, love it. Perfect. Easy, simple. I wanted to circle back to a point you made about the Hamburg Fieldhouse. Who are some of those wrestlers that you respect that have wrestled at the Hamburg Fieldhouse?
Board. A lot of
guys,
people,
you know, a Mount Rushmore, if you will.
Oof, that's a good question. A lot of the guys that I trained with at CZW, you know, like Griffin McCoy, Jordan Oliver.
And I don't want to sound dismissive, and when I say guys, I mean, you know, men and women alike.
Yeah. I can't really think of like a whole Mount Rushmore now. But just seeing people do that, like, LSG. Those are like the kind of people that I like kind of I had the pleasure of meeting, and to kind of like, nitpick, and not really nitpick, but pick their brains and to watch what they're doing, because, LSG, Ava, they've been all around the world, and they are so talented. And just to be able to share the locker room with them and to, face Ava with her having so much experience is an honor.
Yeah, because you pick up off of things off of each other, right? Like, and just getting the opportunity to even train with people like that, be in the same space, learning how to carry yourself in a locker room as well. There's a lot of that, I'm sure. So my last question here about AXW and Don't Call It a Comeback. This is a big moment for AXW. They're coming back from a hiatus. What does this mean for AXW and for you?
It's relatable. When I took a break from wrestling, it was like I kind of was content with, not coming back. And then it's like they say here in Delaware, they have like a Delaware curse. Like, you try to move out of Delaware and you always come back. And I'm like, when I moved, I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back here. And look, I'm back here in Delaware. So I think it's the same with pro wrestling. I didn't
like
think
moths to the light.
Huh?
Like moths to the light.
Yeah, it's like a moth to a light. I was like, I'm sitting here 2025, like, what am I doing here? So being able to not only make a debut at somebody's comeback show, it's great. And I'm definitely happy that they're making their comeback, because look, when I made my comeback, I skyrocketed. So that's going to be the same for them.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. We wish we could be there. We are really proud to announce that we are sponsoring a veteran family with our comp tickets. So we hope that they have a great time, especially during your match as well. Listen, I figure I know what the answer is. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask it. If somebody's on the fence, why should they come to AXW? Don't Call It a Comeback, Saturday, September 27th in Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Because Hamburg is a great place to wrestle, and I'm there.
Okay. All right. A little deviation there.
I added a little bit more seasoning.
Here we go. Love it. Fantastic. Well, Adrianna, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Again, we're really excited to see you at Saved by the Bell. And again, hope people enjoy you at Don't Call It a Comeback. Tickets to, or links to both of those in the description below. Again, Adrianna, thank you so much for your time today, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You too.
Hey, Charlie here. Thanks again for listening to The C Show. I'm in a hotel room in Roanoke, Virginia, as I'm continuing to work on a video project down here in the Commonwealth. The sun just fell behind the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the sky is a beautiful gradient of pinks and blues. I'm about to talk with Leo Sparrow, who you hear on next week's interview special. Really, I appreciate you joining us. I know that you're probably just humoring me, especially if you're listening by this point, but it's nice to think somebody's actually paying attention. We haven't asked in a minute, but make sure to rate the show on your podcast app and leave a review if you do enjoy the program. It really does help us get noticed. I'll be back next week with more interviews with some fantastic talent, but in the meantime, Saved by the Bell is on Saturday, September 20th in Paulsboro, New Jersey at the Monster Factory. Bell time is at 3 p.m., doors open at 2:30. Don't Call It a Comeback is the following Saturday, September 27th in Hamburg, Pennsylvania at the historic Hamburg Fieldhouse. Get there early for the card and memorabilia show beforehand. Doors will open for wrestling at 4 p.m. Bell time is 5:05 p.m. Ticket links are in the description of the episode, as always, along with links to deals that you can take advantage of and help support the show. But again, just want to thank you for listening to The C Show. Of course you like The C Show. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with your friends. Support the show directly at ko-fi.com/cshowpod. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube at C Show Pod. Have a question for the boys? Send an email, cshowpod@gmail.com. Thanks to our friends Amir, Patrick, and Justin for their assistance. The C Show is a production of 832 Media. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Shoot. Where'd that go?